Welcome back. We are back with my mom doing another little interview. After the first interview, I had some comments from my kids and some other relatives that wanted to know a little bit more about her parents, because that would have been their grandparents as well, like they were mine. And so we came back together to do that. I've got a list of questions here. I did share them with my mom. She's had time to kind of look them over and think about them. And we're going to get started with that. So here we go. Just for full disclosure, the video shut down while COVID. All right, so let's go back to the first question I asked you, which was from Elise, and that was what your favorite dish or dessert was that your mom made, or maybe your dad made. I don't know if he ever cooked or not.
I don't remember when they cooking for us.
Yeah,
but he could cook, and then you'll learn about that later.
okay.
The dessert, sometimes it was a cake.
Yeah.
The cake would be a chocolate cake, but depending on who's more,
Okay.
or a white cake or a yellow cake. But the frosting was always a peanut butter frosting. And Ruth carried that frosting home until she died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did.
Well, it's hard to beat peanut butter. And then what about a favorite dish that she might have made for you?
The dish that she made was her chicken and dressing. And she did put the chicken in the dressing. Of course, it was deboned.
Yeah.
I know when I first did that here for your family, they were shocked. Where's the chicken?
Oh, well, we're very unlarked. All right, so let's jump to your parents then. Let's talk about your parents' personalities. Let's start with your dad.
They were very calm. If we misbehaved, they calmly talked to us. They didn't yell and scream. We didn't have any of that at our house. I guess that's why I'm a calm person.
Yeah.
That's the way I was raised, to be calm.
Okay. Even all the kids were calm?
We didn't yell at each other.
Okay.
Yeah. If somebody had a disagreement, I mean, usually, especially the boys, they would just go.
Okay.
I don't know what they did at that. Had an argument, I guess.
Well, I know there was from my own perspective, there was a huge difference between going to visit your family and going to visit Dad's family, because your family was very quiet, calm. Everybody took their turn to speak. And with Dad's family, they were always telling jokes and laughing and talking over each other. And yeah.
And just, they'd tell the same stories every time.
Every time. Yeah, for years. They're probably still telling them.
They're moving around.
So one of the other questions that I had was, as far as your parents go, did they ever talk about their childhood? I mean, I know for me, you and Dad have talked about your childhood some when I was growing up. Did they share those kinds of things with you?
I don't know anything about my dad's childhood. And very little about my mother's. They both were churchgoers. As far as how they met, I have no idea how they met. I know that my mother talked about her growing up as Church of Christ, and her sister hounded her till the day she died, telling her she's going to hell if she didn't get back with the Church of Christ. And I remember her telling us that she would go to church with Dad, which we called it Assembly of God. It was a community church.
Okay.
But she couldn't go in. She would just sit outside.
Oh, really?
While we were having our church service. Dad says it laid in quarter as far as a job in the church. I don't think Dad had a job in the church.
Yeah.
I just know he always sat on the right side. That was that amen corner for the men.
Okay. Did the men and women, you think, sit separately?
Pretty much.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. The women would sit on the left, the men on the right.
Okay. Don't see that much anymore.
And the Tenacious would sit on the back row until they were called out by the minister.
So I had a question here about maybe their pastimes or hobbies, but, thinking in terms of, I would imagine looking back on that time, most of the time was spent surviving, growing food, tending to the garden, maybe going hunting for food, cooking, getting wood for the stove, all that kind of stuff. But what kinds of things did they do maybe for fun or for pleasure?
They had a hobby.
Okay.
My mom's hobby was quilting.
Okay.
They had these quilting frames.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the frames were hanging. Don't remember that. But they were hanging free from something. But it was all she quilted by hand. All the quilts were made by hand. I don't remember them having a quilting circle or anything. But I can still see her sitting there quilting by herself. And my dad's hobby was, we had these 4 beagles. And when I learned they were not Dad's beagles, he kept them for a fox hunting group. And they would take the hill fox hunting with them. And he was their cook.
How about that?
I don't know what. But they would just sit around the fire and listen to the dogs barking. And they'd know when they trade a fox. I don't know if they caught any, but
Yeah. So
they didn't fox.
Oh, yeah. So you grew up with dogs around the house, but you don't like dogs.
They were not house dogs.
Okay.
They were outside. No, I hate them. I don't just hate them. I'm scared of them.
Right.
Because I had one to jump up on me in this neighborhood.
Gotcha.
And I'm really scared of the big dog.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't blame you for that. I think we touched on this last time. Your dad didn't really work, and there was a lot of support that came from his parents. Other than the stuff that they did around the house, gardening and cooking and all of that, what did they do? Anything to make money?
Farm.
Okay, so you sold some of the stuff from your farm.
We raised cotton.
Okay.
And we raised some corn. It was field corn. We didn't have sweet corn back then. And we ate the field corn. And it seemed like we raised something else, but I can't remember. I just know that we had to pick the cotton by hand. And to go over your cotton, all the bubbles wouldn't open up at one time. So you picked what was open and waited for it happened second quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So when all the picking was gone, I know it was Ruth, and I don't know about the other. Yeah. We went and picked cotton for other people who needed pickers.
Okay.
And that's how we bought our school clothes, by picking cotton for someone else.
That had to be a hard job.
It was hard because those bowls just eat your fingers up. And we had this long sack. You pulled it on your shoulder and put the cotton in that sack.
And what was your goal for the day? To pick how much?
I don't know. I was a slow. You know how slow I am. I was just a slow.
So, thinking about your parents then, and how they raised you, what's one or two lessons I think that you've learned from them?
Well, I learned that we never doubted that our parents loved us. My mom was a hugger, but we didn't see that all the time. But if we needed a hug, she was ready to give us one.
Okay.
I don't remember my dad being a hugger. That doesn't mean he wasn't, but I just don't remember that. But I learned that we were supposed to be a calm person and love everybody.
Okay. That's a pretty good lesson to learn.
You know, I love most people. I always give them the benefit of the doubt before I don't love them so good.
Yeah. So you've already mentioned you're not really sure how they met. And I did
not know that.
Okay. So then tell me what a typical birthday would look like.
Well, whosever birthday it was, we always had a cake. There's one particular sister. When she was 5 years old, she didn't want a cake. She wanted divinity candy.
No. That's pretty specific.
And so Ruth and I were nominated to make the candy. We used to make divinity candy for special occasions.
Yeah.
Anyway. And you know, it always turned out good.
Yeah.
But I tried to make it since I've been in the kitchen. Not so good. So my kids asked me
Well, it's pretty rich. You can't eat much of it at a time.
that I love it.
Yeah, that's good. So then thinking about other holidays, Christmas, Easter, those kinds of things that we take for granted because we've just sort of gone overboard with all of them now. What did they look like when you were growing up?
Well, for Easter, we always look forward to going to church for Easter. And we always had, the girls always had a new dress, which Mom made. The fabric came out of the Sears book catalog.
Okay.
Mine was always yellow. We got a new pair of summer shoes. That was our church shoes. And in the fall, when it was time for school, we got school shoes. So we had shoes twice a year. That was Easter. And for Christmas, we always went to our grandparents on my dad's side. Everybody there. Because we were all related. And that was so interesting. My grandmother was blind. I don't know why she was blind. She had been married as a young lady, I understand, and had a daughter. And I think that dog's name was Aunt Willie.
Okay.
And I didn't know that until recently. I didn't remember it anyway. I'm sure I knew it. And I was always in trouble with my grandmother being blind because it was her wiggle and demanded to make the preach ethic. She would peel those oranges and cut up all those fruits that you put in fruit salad. And it seemed like she just had everything. But she would have a bottle that's big open it up. I always wondered how she knew after do that.
Yeah.
And that's what she wanted. That was her thing for the dinner.
You were telling me that she always knew it was you that came to the house, too.
Well, the house, had a long hall, and it was wide. And one side had their apartment. There were 4 or 5 rooms on this one side and 2 rooms on the other side. And that's where they set up the Christmas tree for everyone. And that's where Santa Claus always come in the afternoon and passed out the gifts. And I know we couldn't buy gifts for everybody. We probably drew names. I just don't remember that part.
Yeah.
But everybody got a gift. And I never told you, I don't think about the tree at church.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the fall, we would have a box dinner. Everybody decorated a box and put a picnic lunch in it. This is the women.
Yeah.
And the men would buy those boxes, and you had to eat was whoever bought your box. If whatever they paid for it went toward Christmas presents for everybody in the community. And we had this tree in the church building, and it would reach to the ceiling. Now today, if I saw that tree, might not be so big, but it was big back then. And people would bring a lot of things that Santa Claus was bringing. They would hang them on the tree.
Okay.
I'd wear up like there would be dolls on the tree, trolls. Everybody there got a gift. And then whatever we made from this box shopper, that went to buy all the children of a certain age got gifts.
Yeah.
And they did it by ages. So everybody that night, Santa Claus was there to pass out gifts.
Okay.
We still believe in Santa Claus.
Now, I remember I think we were in Richmond, and it might have, I don't know if it was the new church or the old church before they built the new church, but they did a dinner like that where the women brought things decorated and the men bid on them. Did you and Dad bring that idea to them, or is that something that just was done back in those days? Because I remember you did one that looked like a train. Yeah.
That has not come to my memory.
Okay.
I just don't remember that.
Yeah. So I'm sure all the men felt like they had to bid whatever they could bid to get their wife's box. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to live with it when they got home.
What? I don't remember. I do remember who the Santa Claus was that came to church And one of the teenagers sat on his lap. And when she learned who it was, she just about died. And his, I know his name. Should I not mention?
But I don't know too many people that's going to know who it is.
Well, his name was, I think it was Earl Cleveland. And it wasn't liked all that well. But he looked like a Santa Claus.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
But it was fun times. It was good times back then. Oh, and as far as our Christmas, one of Willem's brothers, we got him rich. He had a cardinwood.
Well, he probably was, yeah.
I don't know if he sold new cars or used cars. But of course they lived in town in a nice home. But he always, I don't know if he brought the check to her or mailed her to her, but he always gave her early in December $25 to buy the kids a Christmas present. Well, you know they weren't going to be button-bait, isn't it? But she stretched it out. Sometimes it would be a sock full of candy and fruit.
Yeah.
And nuts. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
And all that. And then sometimes it would be something like a new combo or hairbrush.
Right. Yeah.
Something that might have cost a dime. But that's how she bought us the Christmas trees.
Okay.
We always look forward to that. She didn't take those to the church. We got those at home.
Okay. Now, we always sort of had a tradition of, for a long time, we don't do this anymore, but for a long time, it seems like we had a tradition of getting to open maybe one gift on Christmas Eve, maybe the smallest gift. I don't remember if that was the case or not, but, and then Christmas Day would be like really early in the morning, because the kids would sleep till noon every day except Christmas Day most of the time.
And you were up at 3.
Yeah. 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 In my defense, that was Steve and Don. They were the ice crusher.
Well, Steve wanted an ice crusher, but he got what?
It's what he got, and he started crushing ice in the middle of the night. But so with Christmas, what kind of like traditions would have been going on for your family if there were any? Like, when would you typically open presents? First thing in the morning or after lunch, or?
We all open Christmas Eve night.
Okay.
That's why I always wanted to have Christmas Eve night.
Okay.
But I finally got voted out.
Yeah, you did. You got voted out. Well, I know growing up, I mean, I would think about going to Granny's house, and, there'd be 50 of us there probably, but their tree was just surrounded by presents, and we would open a lot of presents on Christmas Eve, and we get up Christmas morning, and there'd be a whole bunch of other presents from Santa Claus, most of them not wrapped, because what's the point?
Well, that ain't better than went all out. It was a different time, too.
Well, that's true, yeah, but
everybody worked and had jobs. And
well, you're up north, that's different.
Yeah.
So if you think about, let's think about maybe the summer when you're not in school, but what would a typical day look like?
Well, I think that's when we worked in the garden.
Okay.
We talked about the garden once before.
Yeah.
We had a lot more things.
Well, okay. Feel free to share what was there.
We called our English peas early in the garden. We had cabbage. We had carrots, squash, cucumbers, just any kind of a vegetable. Potatoes.
Yeah.
And in the fall, then we grew turnip greens, and we ate the turnip greens and psychology.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you how we kept the potatoes and the turnip.
I don't think so.
Well, I remember more about the turnips and the potatoes. But they would dig a hole. I guess it was in the garden, maybe, where they could dig. And they would put the turnip roots in there and then heal them up where they weren't flat. And they wouldn't freeze in there.
Mm-hmm.
So when we wanted some turnips in the winter, we could go out there and get us some.
That's a whole different way of living.
Aren't you glad you are more, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am. No, it was been the way they were. Yeah.
And the sweet potatoes, I don't know that we ever did this. I think we kind of buried those too, because they get pretty.
Mm.
I don't know if that's a word.
It is.
That's what I call it anyway, because the turnips get that way. But then, or left out, Aunt Willie that I spoke of. And her husband, I think he was Uncle Will. I don't remember if I remember very well that they had a potato stand, and different people would bring their sweet potato stand. And it would keep their potatoes good for long time.
Yeah.
You had to have transportation.
Sure. Yeah.
I guess we just raised what we could need. Oh, went down the back of our house, not too far. It was just a small patch of woods, maybe twice as big as this table. And there were blackberries. They grew there all the time. And we would go down and pick those blackberries for our cobblers. We would go, and some places in our woods would have muscadine.
Okay. Yeah.
We'd pick those and have muscadine jelly. We ate everything. And I remember between where we lived and the Gaskinsville, it all belonged to Uncle Emmett Mile from our house. In the old house over there was a pecan tree, and we were able to go and pick up whatever else to the ground they were wanting. So that pecan orchard finally just wandered away.
Yeah.
They were trying to keep it going. As time went on, and now we would go and pick up pecans for probably for but the candy. I do remember going there and picking up pecans.
All right. Let's think about maybe the last question here. Elise wants to know what lessons you learned from your parents that inspired you as a parent.
Be kind. And we learned that we all had to work. Then my mom gave birth to 10 children. But 9 of us lived. There wasn't a lazy one in the bunch. We all made our own living. Some did better than others, but we did well.
Yeah.
Could I tell a message to Phyllis?
You can.
And I Phyllis didn't know my parents. But her mother, Bonds, did. And when we were on our way to Arkansas, I believe for Thanksgiving, we stopped at a motel for overnight. And there we heard that John F. Kennedy had died. So we went on to our, we were really upset about that. So we went on the next day to Arkansas. Now, I don't know if this is when, I know one year I said I really wanted to stay in a motel. I just needed a break from people because I worked in the fabric store.
Oh, rather than staying with family, you mean? Yeah.
We had always been staying with family, but this time I wanted to stay in the motel. Of course, made my family mad. But anyway, the day that John F. Kennedy's funeral, Bonza and Dub had a television. And they lived way off the beaten path someplace. And they invited us to come and watch that funeral on their television. So, thanks to Bonza and Dub, we got to see John F. Kennedy's funeral. I just thought Phyllis would probably, she probably doesn't know that.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Well, that reminds me, I did want to touch base on one other thing before we go, and that was we had talked about when they passed away. So if I remember right, your mother passed away first?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to mention this, but I had forgotten. They passed away 2 weeks apart.
I was thinking it was a little further than that, but that's...
Exactly 2 weeks to the day.
Wow.
She was in the hospital in Memphis. She was a diabetic, and she had a heart problem. But she never would give up eating fat. Well, they didn't have the money to eat like you need to eat if you're diabetic. So she didn't pay much attention to it. But she had a sore on, I think it was something inside of her knee, between her knee and her foot. I think it was what the sore was. And there were 2 doctors, one on each side of her bed this morning, talking about how they were going to skin graft that stole because they couldn't get it to feel. And she died right in front of them. I think it was on a Sunday. Well, my dad was already at the hospital in Wingen when he died. He did not go to Mom's funeral. He said the doctor told him it'd be better if he didn't. But we just think he died because he loved her so much. She had always taken care of him because he needed a lot of care at that time. And she was there taking care of him. We think he died of a broken heart.
Yeah, probably.
We don't know that. The doctors don't know that. But anyway, he died. But it was 2 weeks to the day.
Now, I vaguely remember, because I would have been, 5 or 6? I vaguely remember coming to Arkansas for a funeral that was probably your mom's, but I don't remember being there for 2 funerals. Did y'all go back for the second funeral?
We did.
Did we all go? It's kind of all blended together for me at this point.
Feel like that we all went. I remember what I was cooking when I got this message that my dad had died. We ate wild game of it.
Yeah.
And I saw in the grocery store they had a rabbit in the frozen food section. And I bought this rabbit. I was cooking this rabbit when I got that message. I could not eat a bite of it. I never wanted another bite of rabbit.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
just every time I think of eating rabbits, I think of his dad.
Yeah.
And I remember about a week later, I saw this lady walking down the street, and I thought she was coming to my house. I really didn't know who she was. And she had this bouquet of daisies. And she said, I just thought you might need some flowers after Betty. And I just thought that was the grandest thing.
Yeah. That is very sweet. All right. Well, I appreciate you answering these questions. And the next time that we sit down, and we will, we'll talk about you and Dad for a little while. All righty. That's it for today. Thank you all for watching.